This is King B.I.B.A.T, also known as King Teasdale, here today on Blog Talk Radio and YouTube. We have to get some things established and get things done. I am in a place of urgency. It's necessary to move forward. I'm tired, people. I'm tired of people giving and receiving misinformation. I'm tired of the whole 9 yards of what's going on with people's spirituality and what's being fed unnecessarily that is driving people away, when I recognize fully that the enemy's attack is separation from the divine source that brought all things into being. We have on the line with us today my beloved wife, Arlene Cahet, who is the founder and sponsor of the Healing Paradigms. Arlene, would you like to share some more information in regards to that?
Yes. My name is Arlene Cahet, as my husband already indicated. I am a healer, I am a way shower, and I help people to break out of their old patterns and into the paradigm, or break into the life that they, or just someone creating the life that they really want to create, with helping them to understand what they will experience when they want to incur some type of change in their experience. And this coming Monday, people are welcome to come to 213 Reed Street in Baltimore, Maryland, and where I will actually talk about that, about breaking out of your old patterns. So please, come join us. The meditation begins at, the doors open at 6:45, but the meditation begins at 7:15, so you are more than welcome to come down and be a part of that sharing.
Thank you. That is going to be on August 6th, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. I know there's going to be some people listening to this program thereafter, and we just wanted to let you know that on Monday nights at the location which was brought forth, Arlene has a meditation at the indigenous location. I'm tired of people being misinformed. Language of the divine is not the simplest to translate into human language, when human language has many variations beyond count. I share that because spirituality is an extremely important process. I am beginning, and right now I feel a little bit on edge because I have to do this thing today. This is the first Sunday of the month of August. We had a sunrise service in Chicago about healing this day. And with it being the first Sunday in August, I have to launch this program. So I ask you all to forgive any errors, confusion, or what have you that may come about as we clean up our act and I get a little more organized with this whole process, because that's the key right now. Sometimes you have to break through the glass ceiling. You have to break through whatever barriers, whatever obstacles, whatever hindrances that are holding you back so that you can get to the place you need to be. Like I said before, I'm sick and tired of people being misinformed. There is God, the source of all creation. Whatever you wish to call God, I have no problem with. Reason being is because if it is the source of all creation, then that is God. There are some who will not use that name because it is extremely sacred to them, such as the name Yahweh, which the Hebrews deal with. But this is the key. God is the source. Again, God who assumes the name of many things is the source of all there is, all there was, or there that ever has been or ever will be. Our biggest problem as a people of this one planet is that the understanding of language that is not familiar. The biggest problem as a people of this one planet is the understanding of language that is not familiar. Unfamiliarity is uncomfortable. As you can see, I can barely pronounce it. Unfamiliarity is uncomfortable, and unfamiliarity is seldom embraced because we are conditioned to only embrace the familiar. I share that because all there is and has ever been is energy. Energy is all there is of existence in and of itself, and energy goes by many forms. Sound is energy, and we hear people say, in the beginning was the Word. Word is sound. Hence, God is energy and everything between. Before anything was ever a thing, there was energy, pure and totally without form, unconditioned, and all the fullness of power. I need you to absorb that awareness. I am going to share a sound which you may not be familiar with, but I'm going to do 3 stanzas of a 7-part sound, which is from the original expression of a language known as Hebrew, which is the original expression of an archaic language known as Aramaic. My wife's going to help me out. Aramaic. If my wife's going to help me out with that one. And each stanza, if you can get that sheet out, Arlene, just there on the last portion of that, there is the power behind it, as we was talking about the other day. So I'm going to have you say it, and then I'm going to repeat that last portion, that section that says the removal of and the energy that is manifested from it. The reason why it's 7 parts is because it is a part of a conscious awareness of the tree of life. The tree of life is known in ancient cultures as being extremely important, the process and the force of all there is, because it is of God. The first aspect is compassion. The second aspect is judgment and strength. And oftentimes people know the fullness of this as the Anabacoa or the miracle prayer. And before I continue to move forward, I just want to give these portions thereof. And it says, Anabacoa, Gatulat, Yamenaka, Tater, Tezarura, Kabel, Lenat, Amenka, Saivanu, Taheranu, Nora, Nagibor, Dorshi, Yekutika, Kavat, Bat, Sam, Ram. The last one is stanza. It's Nagibor, Dorshi, Yekutika, Kavabat, Sham, Rim. Anabacoa, the first line, Arlene says what? In the section thereof, the power and the energy of the sound.
The removal of time, space, emotion.
Okay, hold on. The removal of time, space, and motion. The removal of time, space, and motion. Let me explain to you, people. The removal of time and space is the aspect of recognizing eternity is real. The removal of time, space, and motion. In the manifestation of the motion in and of itself, we're dealing with that which is the unsubstantiated awareness, consciousness of being still. Oftentimes, meditation is required in that stillness. Emotion is energy in motion. When motion is in a place of stillness, that does not mean that it does not have power. The next line is what, Arlene?
Removing the negative influences of physical matter from our lives.
Removing the negative influence of physical matter from our lives. Removing the negative influences of physical matter in our lives, you have to realize that in the world in which we're living, there is positive energy, negative energy, and neutral energy. There has to be a balance of all of these energies. The influence of the negative energy can overpower, if you allow it, by your choice alone, the thought of it alone. If you stay focused on the thought of the negative energy, you draw the negative energy to you. If you stay focused on the positive energy, you draw the positive energy to you. If you maintain a place of neutrality between these two energies, you are susceptible to the influence of one or the other. And the last section,
unconditional love.
Unconditional love. People, family, love is an energy of power and beauty, which is required for our existence of the now. When we go into the fullness thereof of the reality of what unconditional love is, we look back and we see unconditioned form, energy pure and totally without form, unconditioned and all the fullness of power. That is what unconditional love really speaks to. You have to understand that and bring yourself to the conscious awareness of that. What I share oftentimes, and I need people to really understand this, is in order to swim, you got to go deep. We have been too shallow too long. We as a people have not been addressing things correctly. And it needs to be corrected. As I get things together, as I develop and form what's necessary for the future conscious awareness of everybody involved, no matter what your race, creed, or color is, it's all about whether you are negative or whether you are positive in the power that is present and the influence that you carry with you and the knowing of the power of the source force that holds the earth in place and all the stars and all of creation. For just as we are all a part of the whole of the universe, each one of us is just a drop of the universe in and of itself. The composition of our whole existence is exactly the very same thing. The next line is Kabel Renat Amaka Sagvanu Tatarvanu Nora. That's the line of strength. And what does that say for us, Arlene?
Restricting the reactive system.
Say it again.
Restricting the reactive system.
Restricting the reactive system.
Yeah.
Restricting the reactive system. Think about this. If somebody comes up and slaps you in the face, immediately you are going to have a response of which you want to react. Oftentimes that reaction may not necessarily be the reaction that is required for that time and space. Oftentimes that reaction is based on a condition of which you are embedded with, of which you will respond because of past experiences, because of being locked into a certain mindset or a thought thereof. What's the next line with that, Arlene?
Closing the gate. Yeah, closing the gate of Satan or Satan.
Closing the gates of Satan. Now, those who are of the Islamic faith know that it is Satan that separates and Allah who brings all things together. This is what is said in the Quran. Closing the gates of Satan merely means you are not allowing any longer the influence of the negative to direct what you do in the course of your life's living. We are impressionable beings. These things will happen. But the key is to find that peace and harmony that is necessary to move to the next level. And is there one more there?
Forgetting all limited thought.
Forgetting all limited or limiting thoughts.
Limited thought.
Forgetting all limited thoughts. Okay, people, here we go. There's a story in the scripture that speaks of a war in heaven. The war in heaven was composed of a third of the heavenly hosts, of which a chief angel known as Michael, of which Michael, the name means godlike, warred against this angel, which was then a dragon, which some say was at one point an archangel known as Lucifer. And Michael, who is godlike, won the battle and cast the devil, of which is now known of the dragon, of this guy named Lucifer, to the earth. Be mindful that every story that is ever told has some aspect of conscious awareness that is trying to get to us, through us, from whatever means that is necessary for the divine to reach us, our conscious awareness. When I think of that story, I think of the cancer cell in the body. And when I think of the cells of the body, which generates on a regular basis, we have come from the two which became one, the egg and the sperm. The egg and the sperm came together to make one cell. That one cell has within it the power to generate millions and billions and trillions of cells, which is who you are today. When any of those cells step out of the order which is pre-programmed in it, it becomes a cancerous cell or an abnormal cell, and that cell will start to generate its own physicality. And sometimes that physicality is against the greater good of the whole. So when we see that that cell is excised and cast off. Oftentimes people will have surgery for the removal. Oftentimes people will do whatever is necessary in order to combat that opposing force, that renegade activity. When I saw that, it brought to my awareness that we have a lot to deal with in this world of which we live. I am a man of strange character. I have been tapped into a conscious awareness known as living thought. Living thought has been running through my consciousness on a regular basis for some time. When I look at the Bible, I was wondering what was going on and how people are so constantly battering this Bible that we know as the Holy Scripture. And it's come to my attention, it's all about trying to get everybody to accept separation from God. Not the Bible itself, but the enemies against the greater good of all of creation. So I was moved to the beginning of the Bible where it said, in the beginning, or before I say that, let's say this. There was this phrase that said, I am the Alpha and the Omega, which means I am the beginning and the ending. When I saw that it said ending, that means there's more than one. So when I came to Genesis, I was drawn to Genesis, and it said in the beginning was the heavens and the earth. If you notice there, the word heavens, which speaks of more than one, and the earth, which was only one. And it said in the earth was void, chaotic, and without form. We spoke earlier that we talked about the pure energy that is totally without form, unconditioned, and all the fullness of power. Now, without form means that there's a time to where there is the formless, and there's a time to where everything is chaotic. Just because it's chaotic does not mean that it is not some structure. So when structure comes, it speaks to us. It brings us into being. That's what happened with the egg and the sperm. It brought us into being. As we continue to move forward, we will find more about these processes. So, after that is said, and darkness covered the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of the Lord hovered over the waters. The Spirit of the Lord was watching over the surface of the deep. Whatever was under the deep had to be conditioned to the darkness that was there. Being conditioned to the darkness that was there before the word came, let there be light. We're going to go deeper into this mindset so that we can help the collective better understand that the Bible, which people have told us a while back, it says basic instructions before leaving Earth. The reality is that Bible is a word that comes from the Greek word which is biblio, which means book, plain and simple. This aspect of what I am getting into now has two acronyms. The first acronym that I'm going to share with you is B.I.B.A.T. God gave that to me just as he gave me the acronym SUGAR. SUGAR means succeed understanding God's absolute reign. Sugar is what is to combat the mind consciousness of the word acronym CREAM. Cash rules everything around me. B.I.B.A.T is a word that is the third person singular of the subjective word B.I.B.A.T. B.I.B.A.T means drink. This is what I'm giving to you people. I'm giving you drink. B.I.B.A.T is the acronym for this, which I share with you now. Beginner's insight beyond average thought. Beginner's insight beyond average thought. That's where we're going with this. I prayed for wisdom most of my life. I cannot sit and act as if it does not exist. I have to come to you with it just the way it comes to me. Because for me not to do that would be an atrocity. So, with that being said, what came to me is the acronym B.I.B.L.E should have an S on it. Because if you don't see the fullness of what the Bible is, which is many books, you're not going to capture what is necessary for your spiritual growth. And B.I.B.L.E with the S on it is this: beginning insight before living evolved spirituality. Let me say it again. Beginning insight before living evolved spirituality. People, we are spiritual creatures in a human experience. We have to grasp that which is unfamiliar to move forward into a newness of life. For God creates all things brand new. Arlene, I'm going to close with this. We got 2 minutes left. Do you have anything to share?
No, but thank you so much for joining us, and we will be seeing you very soon.
She said, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time, which we're going to be aiming for doing this on Sunday. It's either going to be 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I don't know, but we're going to find out. Where I don't know where I'm going to put the information. Do you have any thoughts?
We will put the information up on Facebook on the Divine Inspiration Network page, the Facebook page. Please come and like us.
The Divine Network Facebook page. We're going to post it on...
the Divine Inspiration Network page, yeah.
The Divine Inspiration Network page. We're going to post it on the Souls of Life Society page, and we're going to post it on King Teasdale's page. Teasdale spelled Teasdell. And King Obadele. Obadele is spelled Obadele, the Oracle. I think it's time for us to roll out, so I don't have any more to say. I feel as if my spirit is a little lifted because I was able to get some of this stuff out to break the ceiling that is necessary in order to move into the newness of what is necessary for us all. Namaste, family. Until we meet again.
Namaste.
And next time I'll have her in the same room with me. Namaste.